Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the nation's sharpest opinion. And I have said that it's time to send a message, and today I want to send a very clear message. People are constantly beginning to ask me, is the American deep state going to go after the Modi government? And I think it will. And I am here today to caution people, the people of India, of how far Donald Trump and the American deep state can go regarding the Indian government. I have certain indications that make me believe that there is already a very strong, unstated conflict going on between the American deep state and our nation. The latest proof today, FBI agents raided the Washington, D.C. residence of former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton. He was once National Security Advisor. John Bolton with Donald Trump in his first administration. And this is, by the way, the same John Bolton who said, it turns out that Russia has not faced any new sanctions. China has not faced any new sanctions, notwithstanding the fact that they were the major purchasers of Russian oil and gas. India has been singled out. So John Bolton, who earlier worked with Donald Trump, supported India, and he has been raided by the FBI. The American deep state has started functioning and singling out all people who support India. Shortly after the raid began, Kash Patel of the FBI wrote in a post on X, "No one is above the law," he said. No one is above the law. And then Trump turned on Bolton and said, he's a lowlife. That's the kind of language being used.
I'm not a fan of John Bolton. He's a real sort of a lowlife.
His own former national security advisor, Trump's own former national security advisor, is being called a lowlife by Donald Trump. Why? Why, ladies and gentlemen? Because he supported India. It is time we understand anyone who supports India will be targeted by a vengeful American deep state who are being told what to do by Donald Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, the message is simple. You support India and the American deep state will go after you. Can there be a better definition of deep state at work than the US FBI going out of its way to target anyone who supports the Narendra Modi government? Some Indians were foolish to celebrate the appointment of Kash Patel. My point is that if the FBI can get involved, then mark my words, the CIA is already involved. The State Department is already involved. We are being targeted strongly by the American deep state. Look at the words of White House Trade Advisor Peter Navarro. He says, if India wants to be treated as a strategic partner of the US, it needs to start acting like one. Look at the words he uses. They call us cheats. The Americans, Donald Trump's people are calling us cheats. He's calling India laundromat of the Kremlin. He's calling India a country that cheats on trade. Listen to this man.
25% because they cheat us on trade, 25% because of the Russian oil. It's a refining profiteering scheme. It's a laundromat for the Kremlin.
Well, this is this mad MAGA view of the world where the world begins and ends. Ladies and gentlemen, in Minnesota, if there are any cheats, if there are cheats, ladies and gentlemen, if there are people who are laundromats, it is unfortunately the Americans themselves who are doing more and more trade with Russia.
Incidentally, when the new administration came to power, bilateral trade started to grow. It's still very symbolic. Still, we have a growth of 20%.
They've increased trade on uranium, on critical minerals. They are buying that. And when we ask them, remember, Trump had absolutely no answer. The point is, viewers, what the Americans are doing is signaled to the Modi government. We are going to come after you. They're signaling to the people of India, to you and me, that we are going to come after you. These are desperate words. The Americans are very desperate. Remember, the American deep state will go to any extent. Remember, they put the puppet Muhammad Yunus as the chief advisor to the government of Bangladesh on August 8th last year. The man can't win a municipal election in Bangladesh. And then he went on stage with Clinton and he revealed the whole story. He revealed how the American deep state worked with him to oust the government.
The whole nation, they mobilized the whole nation together. It's not just the young people. Every single person in Bangladesh support this cause. And I'm very happy that the support in the people of the United States to make that happen. And the sky's the limit. They want to make this Bangladesh called New Bangladesh.
He actually made an open revelation that we work together with the Americans to create an operation to change the government at American behest. At this time, viewers, our nation has a choice. We want to bend or we want to fight. Narendra Modi has decided to fight. Listen to his words again. Just listen to his words for a moment.
और मैं जानता हूं व्यक्तिगत रूप से मुझे बहुत बड़ी कीमत चुकानी पड़ेगी, लेकिन मैं इसके लिए तैयार हूं.
Our Prime Minister is saying he is ready to pay a price. The question I'm asking you, are you willing to fight alongside him when he fights for our national interest? Or will you work against national interest and fight him at this moment? Ladies and gentlemen, the nation is greater than anything else. If the Prime Minister of India is fighting for the country, it becomes our moral obligation to stand alongside him. Remember, we are taking on the Americans. I want to put some numbers before you today. We have refused to open up $650 billion US agricultural sector. That's why the Americans are angry. We have refused to open up our $135 billion dairy sector. That's why Trump is furious. The American deep state is very angry with Narendra Modi. And given Donald Trump's tantrums, the US is set to lose India's EV market that is projected to grow to $113 billion US by 2029. Just these three numbers together that I put before you, ladies and gentlemen, almost amounts to 900 to 1,000 billion US dollars. And the Americans want that money. They want that entry into our market. And they're very obstinate. In the past, they have shown that anyone who stops them from doing business on their terms, they fight and want to remove. Make no mistake. As we fight for our national interest, we are earning many unseen enemies. And please know this today, that nothing happens without foreign interference. Look what happened. I do not believe anything happened without foreign interference. Look what happened on 26 January 2021 in Red Fort, and remind yourself that the entire amplification, the toolkit network of Greta Thunberg was run by woke American deep state sermons. They were responsible for trying to remove the Tiranga from the Red Fort, ladies and gentlemen. Can we ever forget that moment? What happened in Shaheen Bagh on December 2019, the entire anti-India protest made international headlines, and there was a sudden woke, dangerous amplification. Ponder and think who was feeding all this. Do you need to be reminded, viewers, what happened in the 2022 Jahangirpuri riots when more than 40 people were arrested, ladies and gentlemen, and dozens of people were killed? Do we need to be reminded, were there no foreign forces behind that? Was there not a sinister design? Are these not attempts to try and contain India's rise? Does this not help powers who are inimical to India's growth? And I want to say to them today, you foreign powers, foreign agents, intelligence agents, State Department, deep state, try anything. You cannot stop India's growth from 4 trillion to 10 trillion to 20 trillion. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know the Canadian angle in the so-called fake farmers' protest, and I want to keep reminding you tonight. And this weekend, tell everyone to watch this. Remind people what happened in July 2024 in Bangladesh, when Bangladesh was ripped apart. A democratically elected leader was made to flee her own country by these same American groups, ladies and gentlemen, on 5th August 2024. Why? Because she fought the American deep state, because she spoke her mind. America on multiple occasions were angry with her because she was not giving up sovereignty over St. Martin's Island, where they wanted to set up a very large American military base to control and increase their presence alongside Myanmar, alongside Bangladesh. They have ruined Bangladesh, ruined these American deep state, ruined Bangladesh. They can say what they want, but today the Bangladeshi economy is growing at its slowest in almost 4 decades. They destroyed Bangladesh, and they take no responsibility for it. Imran Khan, he survived an assassination attempt. I'm no fan of Imran Khan, but the fact of the matter is he spoke against the Americans. Then he was jailed and even attacked inside the jail. He survived an assassination attempt inside his own country on 3rd November 2022. As the American deep state works, I want to remind you again what they are likely to do here in India. What they are likely to do is spark a sense of doubt among the people of our country about their own nation, about their own government, about their own nation's institutions. And there is no dearth of people who are waiting for a chance to light the fire, to spread the doubt. You remember what Salman Khurshid of the Congress said. You remember what Mani Shankar Iyer of the Congress said. Just listen to these sound bites and make your mind up for yourself. And as you listen to them, I appeal to you tonight. Let us fight this sense of doubt that some people have their own vested political interests to push. Listen to this and beware.
What's happening in Bangladesh can happen here. It's just that Bangladesh is a concentration of much that we have in our country.
ऐसी परिस्थिति में हम ये भी कह सकते हैं कि जैसा कि शक पैदा हुआ लोगों के मन में बांग्लादेश में कि ये फ्री एंड फेयर इलेक्शन है क्या?
Do you hear these words, ladies and gentlemen? Don't you get a feeling there are some people in India who want what happened in Bangladesh to happen to India? But the American deep state has destroyed Bangladesh today. Do we want our nation to be destroyed? We have no option. We have to come together. Reality is, ladies and gentlemen, America wants to contain India. They keep saying we are $30+ trillion. India is only $4.4 trillion. Why should we be insecure of India? Let us look at our growth. I want to show the numbers to you. If you look at things in purchasing power parity terms, India is at 15 trillion, US is at 29 trillion. In purchasing power parity terms, we, the world's most populous nation, the world's largest democracy, our economy, in purchasing power parity terms, is already close to 2/3 that of the United States of America. That's not such a big gap. Give us 10 years, in PPP terms, maybe even earlier, we'll be bigger than the United States of America. We are a real challenge to American hegemony. There are past examples of the deep state. Remember what Natwar Singh, former minister in the Congress government, said. He revealed in his book. He said the CIA has infiltrated the decision-making apparatus of the UPA. He said agencies decide who gets a ministerial berth. Every sphere of the UPA was penetrated by the CIA. And that's the situation. That's the kind of intent that we have to fight. Our government, Narendra Modi government, has decided to fight it because, not because we hate the Americans, but because we have to stand up for our own interests. Because today we're dealing with a very unstable Trump who's surrounded by cheerleaders like Vance, Rubio, Kash Patel. Together, these people have made India the enemy. They have sidelined Tulsi Gabbard, who was questioning Donald Trump. They made India the enemy because by making India the enemy, they can play to the Trump game. And very interestingly, the same Donald Trump, who himself said earlier that USAid was trying to finance people. Remember what he had said earlier? Trump had said earlier that USAid, government aid, was financing political parties to set up someone other than Narendra Modi in power, has changed his line. This is what he had said earlier. This is what he had himself said earlier.
And $21 million for voter turnout in India. What do we need to spend $21 million for voter turnout in India? Wow, $21 million. I guess they were trying to get somebody else elected. Wow, $21 million for India elections.
And please note, Trump said then someone was giving $21 million to get someone else than Narendra Modi elected in India. Today, the same United States officially is saying that never happened, which means they are going back on Trump's claim. I'm not going to suggest which political party the American deep state is supporting, but they are now flipping. They are saying USA did not receive 21 million for voter turnout in India. So what did the money go for? Charity. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a very dangerous moment in our country, but it's also a moment of great opportunity. I need to tell you all that you need to play your role as citizens of this country to make sure that the deep state can never pull our country down. What can you do? Here are a few things I think you can do. You can be very watchful of disinformation campaigns in this period, attempts to put a sense of doubt in your mind. You need to be very watchful of these Maoist media, of some dangerous YouTubers' narratives. You need to keep your guard up against what is being fed by the Maoist media and the deep state actors, possibly in India. You need to be very careful of politicians and vested interests who may feel that this is the time to target the government, to target India. You need to be very careful when you see some politicians having some foreign trips and suddenly one activist becomes hyperactive on foreign shores. when there are reports being released on India's democracy. You will find false cases being whipped up by the NGO brigades. You will see the lobby running to UN bodies. You will see some Maoist lobbies become hyperactive. And you will see a lot of divisive politics being spread in India on caste, religious, and economic lines. And I am 100% sure that since, and it's not a question of whether or when, but how the deep state will try and target our country, ladies and gentlemen, you need to be very careful of the invisible Soros gang. This is their moment, they believe, once again. And Soros gang hates Trump, but both right now hate India. So they will even come together on that. My gut feeling is they will all come together to try and target our country. Now, why did I say that despite these dangerous times, it's a great moment? Because my gut feeling is, and I know, that greatness is achieved out of such moments of churn. This is a churn, ladies and gentlemen, and out of that churn will remain and we will build together a greater India, the greatest India. Ladies and gentlemen, make India great again. Let's fight back. Please share this video with as many people as possible so that we constantly fight together, all of us, fight this disinformation campaign. Whether or not you are a member of our nationalist collective, I hope you are, please do spread this video. Thank you for watching.